Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I'm going to ask a question today, and I hope I'm going to get the right answer. Are you grateful? Important question. Practicing gratitude can make such a big difference in your life, even to the extent where you don't even realize what's going on as you express yourself in being happy with what you're doing for yourself and other people. We're going to talk about gratitude today with Winnie Chang Wang, and she is an acupuncturist, an author, a mindset coach, does so much to help people. And it's great to have you back here, Winnie. How you doing?
Great. Thank you so much for having me, Steve.
Yeah, somebody recently told me that they wake up every day as soon as their eyes open and they think even for 30 seconds and just either meditating, laying in bed, or even walking to the coffee maker about what they're thankful for, what they're grateful for. I think that's a great idea. It's hard to remember to do that. And sometimes we're also negative that we don't think about those things that are important that we should be happy about.
Yeah, Steve, it's so funny because I don't know if you've ever saw this picture where what we know that we know is 0.001%. What we know we don't know is like 1%. And what we don't know is 99%. I'm just going to take a minute here to breathe with the fact that most of us have this tremendous blind spot where we don't even know what we don't know. Right? We can't possibly know everything that a scientist knows, or a doctor, or an architect, a lawyer. We can't.
It's impossible. And I'm trying to process that too, thinking about that.
Okay, so, the limitation of this exercise where we wake up and think about, okay, let's talk about the top 10 things I'm grateful for today. I am grateful that I have a roof over my head. I am grateful for the food I have to eat. I'm grateful for the clothes I have to wear. I'm grateful to be on this podcast with Steve Harper. I'm grateful for all the listeners who's tuning in right now. I'm grateful for et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The air I'm breathing, the water I'm drinking. But that's only what I know. Okay. So in other words, most of us can at most be 0.001% grateful for all the things that we enjoy every day, because we don't know what we don't know. So it's really funny, and why this is such an important topic is because of the law of attraction. The law of attraction says what I vibrate is what I attract. So if I vibrate in gratitude, the universe is going to send me more things to be grateful for. Now, here's the problem. What if I don't know what I don't know 99% of the time? In other words, if I really want to live in complete abundance, and last week we talked about flourishing and manifesting in abundance. If I really want to have infinite love and success and everything, I get to practice being grateful for the 99% that I don't even know. I would like to call that the invisible hand of God. We just don't know how many things are happening behind the scenes.
It's so true. There's things going on in the universe you don't know. And we could end this podcast now, or you could look at your phone and you could receive a text, and it could be something that is so monumentally great that you should be grateful for, maybe in advance. Just say, I'm grateful for the things that are happening that I don't even know about.
Yeah. And so really tying in last episode's topic, which is abundance, flourishing, and manifesting, with this week's topic, which is gratitude, it's that the more we can give thanks to the invisible realm, just know that we can never appreciate God, source, universe, the invisible realm enough. And just get in the habit of saying that. I can never appreciate the universe enough. And I don't need to know. That's the other thing. So let's talk about the shadow of gratitude, shall we? Because a lot of us have blockages to receiving gratitude. And it's this idea that I own anything. It's this idea of entitlement, right? I think I own this house. I own this money. I think I own this office. I own my parents, my kids, my spouse. And I just walk around life taking everybody for granted. And I'm going to speak for myself here, but for a long, long time in the beginning of my healing journey, I got really good at analyzing my childhood trauma. I'm like, oh yeah, because my parents parented me with fear, shame, and guilt. And that's why right now I have all this subconscious scripts running, fear, guilt, and shame. And I feel entitled to having the perfect parents, the parents who always say the right thing and do the right thing. But what in reality is, God speaks to me through you, Steve. God speaks to me through my children, my parents, my clients. God speaks to me 360 degree in every relationship and every person in my life. So whenever there is a conflict between me and, say, my parents, there is an element of truth from my parents' perspective, and there's an element of truth from my perspective. So the question is, can I put my ego aside and really listen to what God is saying to me through my parents? Maybe God is trying to protect me from getting into trouble. And also the same is with my children. Whenever I am in a conflict with my children, their perspective is valid and my perspective is valid. So instead of feeling, why is my child disrespectful for me? Why is she not listening to me? Can I listen and see what is God trying to tell me through my children? Because by listening to other people is how we reduce our blind spots. So instead of automatically saying, oh my God, here we go again, my parents is giving me fear, guilt, and shame. This is how I have all this childhood trauma. This is how I have failed relationship. It's all because my parents messed up in their parenting and look where I am. Is to realize, wow, my parents have loved me every single moment. And there were all these words of wisdom and guidance that God was trying to speak to me, but I just couldn't receive it.
Interesting. And I love the fact that you said others have their perspective is valid. Your perspective is valid. It's kind of blending the two together, or hearing or seeing what the message is. There's a lesson there. There's a message. And we should be grateful for that. Maybe it might not go our way at that moment. Maybe there's a riff, with your parents, riff with my kids, whatever it might be at that moment. but we have to take it for what it is and use it to our advantage in terms of learning something. Because I believe I agree with you. There's a message there. Whatever that is, there's some kind of message. Whatever you believe in, source, God, universe, you have to hear the message. Not easy to see it though, to pull it out. That's the biggest challenge.
The biggest challenge is we feel like we're entitled. And the reason why this happens is really because we want to be control freak about everything, right? I want to have control over my parents' parenting skills. I want to have control over the way my kids behave so that they don't get called into the principal office and embarrass me, right? I want control over my children so other people will not see them as bullies. I want control over my kids so my kids won't be bullied by other people. It all boils down to, I don't trust that God is constantly loving me, protecting me, and supporting me. That's why I want to control everything. And so this is the shadow aspect. The shadow aspect is I don't trust that the universal plan is going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust it. So I got to go into control freak mode, and I want to control myself, and I want to control everyone in my life. And it turns me into a fixer. I want to fix you and you and you and you and you.
But ultimately, and this is not just you, I'm going to say it's of me and probably many others, that we want to control it because it affects the way we look. Like we just said, the entitlement, if kids get called down to the parents' office, I'm going to try and control that before that happens because it's going to make me look bad as a parent.
Exactly. We are so afraid of looking bad.
Yeah. And oh, well, that happened. You do your best you can with your kids. And if they get called down to the principal's office, whatever happened, let's hope it's not really bad, but you do the best you can, but you can't control everything. I think we all have to realize that you can't control everything. You can't control people. You can't control situations. You can do your best to work with them, offer advice and all of that, but we got to let it go sometimes.
Exactly. Where I am making progress in letting go of my control freak and finding more trust is trusting that God or universe has a plan for me and for you and for every listener. We are all the chosen one to live our purpose, and we all have a choice of answering our soul's highest purpose or calling. It's really funny because I work with people who have anxiety and depression all the time, and I feel like, well, if I do acupuncture or I do energy work, it's a little bit like a Band-Aid, because whatever anxiety and depression that you have, you come and I take care of it. The blockage is gone. But then if you don't change the way that you're living, if you're always going to be worrying about everything in the world instead of trust, if you're not living your life's purpose, you're always going to have anxiety and depression, right? It's kind of like, why do some people go on antidepressants and they take it and 20 years later, they're still taking it? Yep. Why do they have a talk therapist 20 years later, they still have a talk therapist, right? One of the things is I didn't want to be the kind of acupuncturist where people come to me and I make them feel better, and 20 years later, they're still stuck on me. I want my clients to graduate from their anxiety and depression. And in one sentence, the ultimate medicine to anxiety is trust. And the ultimate medicine to depression is living your life purpose, right? Because if you trusted that the universe has got your back, and the universe loves you, and the universe is protecting you, guiding you, you're all taken care of, there's no place for anxiety. Everything's going to work out. Right? So I really am passionate about helping people connect to trusting themselves and trusting the universe, because that is the solution to anxiety. You know, not every week get an acupuncture appointment. I make more money if you come every week to my acupuncture appointment, but I don't want that. I want you to connect, to trust yourself, to trust the universal plan. And that's why I wrote a book, Honoring Darkness. And that's why I have a course, because by reading the book and taking the course, I'm helping you graduate and learning that no matter what obstacle your life has, be grateful for the obstacles, because it's getting you closer and closer to your life purpose. Right? So I had clients, you know, in the beginning of first year of my acupuncture practice, client has depression, and it was really good money. I got to be honest. Every single week, like clockwork, she's like, I got to get in my acupuncture appointment. I want to get some of Winnie, you know? And so week after week she came. And a couple months later, I'm like, you still have the same job. You know, the alarm clock rings, you wake up, you go to your job, you come home, you eat Chinese takeout in front of the TV, you go to sleep. Sometimes if you're really depressed, you go online and buy some makeup, you get your nails done. But unless you are living your life purpose, you're always going to be depressed. And I don't want your money. I don't want you to come every week. I want you to read the book and take the course and connect to why you're here on this earth.
You know what they often say? You have to do the work. Everything's work. Even if you do a meditation, what is it often said? There's breathing work. Everything is work. So if you want to be a better person, heal, whatever your goals are, there's a little bit of work involved. You can't just show up, you know, and have a session with Winnie and just expect it's all going to go away. Everything's going to be fantastic. You can't even go to a hypnotherapy session unless you really want it. It's not going to work. You have to want it, and you have to work at it.
Okay. So I had a breakthrough. Up until 2 months ago, I used to think if you want to get better, you have to do a lot of work. That's sort of like my motto for the last 42 years in my life, which is everything I have achieved is because I work hard. True or false? Okay, so my breakthrough 2 months ago is it's 50% correct. It's 50% correct in that humans have to put in 50% effort. However, first of all, within that 50% effort, there's a lot of fun. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do, is that even though the work can be hard, I want people to laugh and cry at the same time. You know, I want to bring people so much joy as they do this work so that it doesn't feel like work. It feels like fun. You know, what if work is fun? Like, that's the thing, is this work that we're doing is liberating you. It's liberating you into freedom. So is there a little bit of work? Yes, but there's also so much fun at the other side. And so, first of all, we put in 50% human effort, but we also have a lot of fun. The second 50% is the invisible hand of the universe. It's kind of like, okay, you know what? There are two ways I can pay rent. One is I work hard and I pay rent. Two is I have a rich daddy and my rich daddy hands me a check and then I can pay rent. Right? So what if God source universe is like a waterfall, and it's raining $10 million per second. And we just have to ask, and then we're connected to this infinite ATM, right? So what if life is a little bit of work, a lot of fun, but all we have to do is ask and we shall receive, right? That's why the topic today is gratitude, because what if we all have rich daddies in heaven, but we just didn't know to ask daddy for money? And I love asking daddy for money. Hey, you know what? Daddy has infinite money that he wants to give to everybody. And all we have to do is ask. It's every single person's birthright to live off of their daddy. And everyone has a rich daddy in this invisible realm.
Mm-hmm. I love the way you present that. And also when, we said the word work before, what do we invariably do right away? I have to do work. Oh, work. I want to work. The work should be fun as you improve yourself. Even when I said breathing work, that's not really that much work, but they call it work because you have to do it to get to the next step. You can't just sit there and say, I'm good now. Everything's fantastic. I'm healed. Everything's great. I want to share, if I could, with you real quick.
Yes.
When we talked about the plan, there is a plan. You have to trust the plan.
Yes.
The song that came out years ago called Part of the Plan by Dan Fogelberg. And great song. Don't even have to listen to the song. Kind of acoustic. You could just Google the lyrics, and I'm going to read a few of them because it says what we're saying. But I have these moments all steady and strong. I'm feeling so holy and humble. The next thing I know, I'm all worried and weak, and I feel myself starting to crumble. Relatable, right? The meanings get lost and the teachings get tossed, and you don't know what you're going to do next. You wait for the sun, but it never quite comes. Some kind of message comes through to you. Some kind of message comes through to you. So, and there's more, and really, the plan, one day, and the lyrics are later in the song, one day we'll all understand. One day we'll all understand. So when we talk about conflict with your parents or with your kids or somebody else, some kind of message comes through to you. There's a message there for you. You just got to be open to receiving the message, and that message is there to make you a better person. But yeah, check it out. Part of the Plan, Dan Fogelberg.
Thank you, Steve. I definitely check it out. And I really appreciate you listening so deeply to me, because indeed, all of us, when we hear the word work, we're like,
yeah, of course.
But here's the scientific definition of work. Work is burning calories. If you think about it, we're all organic matter, right? The fact that I'm alive today is because I eat some food which contains calorie and I'm burning it. So it's like working out. I'm doing, I'm running on the treadmill. That's work. But some people find running, they have runner's high.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, I'm a professional speaker. I go on podcasts, right? Steve, you are doing work. You're getting paid for the work that you're doing. And so this is your work, but you're laughing. And this is my work, and I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So work just means burning calories. Work is not good or bad. It's not stressful or not stressful. Work is what we make of it, right? So if we make work fun, then it's like we're burning calories while we're having fun. And if we think work is hard, then oh no, we're going to have a lot of frustration and suffering. So the wisdom is choosing to be grateful for the opportunity to work. Right? I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be on this PBN podcast. I'm so grateful to be interviewed by Steve. And I'm so grateful for all of the audience that's tuning in right now. Right. So if I am grateful for my work, then this work becomes pure joy, bliss, happiness. It's recharging me. It's charging me instead of depleting me.
We have to come up with another word for work.
Burning calories.
Calories, yeah. Winnie, it's always great talking with you. Your website, mindfulhealingheart.com. I know we talked about the books before. We go to our your website, we can see that there, right?
Yeah. So my website is mindfulhealingheart.com. There is events that I do all the time. I do body scan workshops. I have a free online community where every week I give a reading of the week. You know how you have weather forecasts. Okay, is it new moon, full moon? What's the energy? So I do a reading and a blessing to help everyone process their shadow of the week. And also I have links to the book, and you can find the course information on the community. And of course, I love listening to all the audience members. So my email is mindfulhealingheart@gmail.com. If anybody wants to shoot an email, say hi. I absolutely love that.
Well, we started talking about gratitude, and I just want to say I'm grateful for you.
Oh, Steve, I love you. I'm so grateful for you too.
You really make me and everybody else think and give a different perspective on things. And these are things that we all think about. You know, we all go through conflict. We all have challenges, but if we reframe them and are grateful for the opportunity to work through them, we're all better for it in the end. Winnie, thank you again. I look forward to catching up next time.
Take care, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.